I think the other problem a lot of times is sales reps really just work 4 months out of the year, make all their money off season, maybe do a little bit of recruiting, they're not working 40, 50 hours a week.
No way.
This was a year-round gig. This was 60 hours a week, 12 months out of the year, not just jump in for the summer, hands off the wheel.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the D2D Podcast. We are back with another great episode and another great guest, because that's what we do. We stack good guests on our podcast for you. This gentleman, as we just found out, is just 20 minutes south of our location here in Sandy, yet we're still going remote. We didn't know that was the case. Mr. Tom Karren, man that's doing it all. I'm excited for you guys to hear what he has to say. Sounds like he's got a wealth of experience in our space in multiple different industries doing big things. And he's going to be running a workshop in D2D Canada. So Tom Karren, welcome to the podcast. How are we doing today?
Good. Thanks, Hunter. Appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. And you know what I just realized as well? We have rival hats on. I love it.
We do indeed. I think your team's a little better.
You know what's funny is, like, I'm not even a huge baseball guy. If I had to choose an MLB team, I would pick the A's, just because that's like my very first MLB team I went to, and I'm from Central California, so I'm not gonna fight anyone. I just wear it because I like it, but I like yours better, actually. The all black, that's cool. Super cool.
Yeah, I went to a Yankees game and got one there. I liked the hat, so whenever I go to a pro game, I always snag a hat, whether I'm following the team or not.
For sure. A little memorabilia, and it looks cool. I love it. Well, Tom, why don't you give our listeners a little background on who you are, where you're from, what brought you into the door-to-door space, what you've done since then, and what led you to where you're at right now?
Yeah, you bet. I grew up in McGrath, Alberta, Canada, just a little farm town, population 2,000,
Nice.
Just above the Montana border. Born and raised, graduated high school there, just grew up farming and kind of a rugrat, just good old wholesome living, just the farm life. And
Sure.
Our school was K through 12.
Wow.
So my brother, who I'm 10 years older than, I'd see him in the hallways as a senior. And it was just a great upbringing, great childhood, just taught to work real hard. I graduated high school, and then I went to school at Rick's College, now
Nice.
BYU, Idaho. So that ages me quite a bit.
What was that that was like 80s the switchover was, right? Or 90s?
Yeah, I went in, 97, 98. And then I went and did a LDS mission. And when I came back, it had turned into BYU, Idaho.
Gotcha. Okay.
So that's essentially where I got introduced to the industry. I had just got back from my mission. Was working crappy jobs, working at a potato factory, early morning janitor at Melaleuca call center, donating plasma twice a week.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
the whole Rexburg experience, dude.
Yeah. Just trying to make ends meet. And being a Canadian, I'm a dual citizen, but I wasn't able to get student loans. And so I was kind of on me. And so I had a lot of pressure to come up with some money. My parents weren't in a position to help me very much. Mom's a teacher, dad was farming. And so when I got introduced to summer sales, it was quite intriguing. I remember pretty vividly, I got home from a shift at the potato factory. I still had my hard hat in my hand, and a kid knocked on my door and invited me to a free pizza meeting.
Nice.
About door-to-door sales. And I was like, I am not doing door-to-door sales, but I'll go get free pizza.
All day.
So all day, yep. Rounded up my roommates, and we went over to the meeting, and really had no interest whatsoever, really didn't understand it. But ironically, I met someone there that I was really close with my freshman year, and he had gone out and done it the previous summer. And we'd lost touch with going on mission and whatnot. but it was someone I really loved, and we hung out a lot. And so he was able to break it down for me and really give me the details, the good, the bad, the ugly. And he told me how much money he had made doing it that summer. I think he made just over 20 grand as a rookie back then. And I'm like, gosh, if Josh can do that, I can sure as heck do that.
Yeah.
So that was it. That was in 2000, and went off to Lancaster, California, selling, representing Orkin Pest Control on the doors. And
Lancaster, dude?
Lancaster, Palmdale, Santa Clarita.
Oh,
hotter than Hades. I remember that. Trudging around in that heat. That was wild. But had a great first summer, and I was really hooked. You know, I took to it quickly. I just loved it. I loved commission. I loved, eating what you kill. I loved the more I put into it, the more I got out of it. And then I saw a path to myself to clearly utilize summer sales just to get through school debt free. And that was kind of my intentions. The golden handcuffs though, just one more summer.
Yeah.
That's kind of how I got into the space.
I love it. You know what's funny? And again, for our listeners that watch all of these, they're going to probably be so annoyed of me by now. I have to point it out early because you said it, but I've always noticed that whether we have like a top performing rep, someone that's been in this space for a while and has made a beautiful career out of it, they always have like two things in common in their upbringing. It's either an insanely competitive sports upbringing or a hardworking blue collar background that just knows the value of hard work and doesn't say anything about it. And it sounds like, I don't know if you play sports, you probably do, but it sounds like you got that gnarly blue collar upbringing, which I'm sure translated
really
well
into the town. Again, when you're with the same 50 kids from kindergarten through your senior year, you all play sports together. And Southern Alberta, Raymond, Cardston, McGrath, it's like Hoosiers there. It's like you have a ball in your hand as soon as you can walk. And
really?
Every, hockey, basketball, sports is everything. There's nothing else to do. And so, growing up farming and working hard and blue collar for sure. But then with just, the overall competitive nature that's instilled in you from a very young age, I think that all translated over to the door-to-door world for me.
100%. People probably complaining about 5 hours of knocking and you're just like, what?
Go sit on a tractor for 14 hours making $10 an hour.
Oh yeah, that's cool. I also did that myself. Before I got into sales, I was newly married, got kicked out of BYU, Idaho for having bad grades, sent back home. Ended up, I was teaching swim lessons, and Central California is a big farm area, a lot of agriculture. And one of my students, his father would come to watch his son as I taught him, and he'd show up in a farm truck, had the boots on, all the stuff, and I've wanted to get into farming. So like after my lessons, I would give recaps on how the students are doing. And so one day I just asked the dad, I'm like, I'm going to assume you're a farmer. He's like, yeah. And I was like, would you mind if I like came out one day? I didn't even know him. I was like, do you mind if I came out one day and just kind of like saw your operation? Cause what he was doing, which is like custom harvesting, was exactly what I'd interest in. So I ended up kind of being mentored by him for 2 years. 7 days a week, 12 to 14 hour days, just farming, like getting upper. Oh dude. And I lived about 40 minutes away from the farm, and we'd be there at 5 a.m. every morning. So like I was, dude, I like never saw my wife at the time ever, and it was for 2 years before I got into sales. But those 2 years of farming coupled with sports upbringing, all the other stuff really, it makes it for a good career. But so let's see, so that's early 2000s you jumped in, right?
Yeah, 2000 is when was my first summer.
Man, all it takes back then was just some pizza, man. You just knock on someone's door, dangle some pizza, and you get a Tom Karren. You get a Tom Karren in your org. I love it.
Back then it was a professional interview. It was, and nowadays we're out begging kids to work for us. And back then we're begging to work, and it was apply, turn in an application, wait for a second interview. Like it was legit, but there weren't many options, right? There's only really 2 companies back then. You had Apex Alarms, and then Eclipse Marketing, and then a few other companies, but it was not common for guys or girls to do door-to-door sales back then. It was still pretty taboo.
Totally was. And that was kind of my next question for you. I love talking to the older dogs that have been around the block for a while. Like when I got into solar, I had to spend a lot of time with Doug Robinson and Luke Toon. I look up to those guys, and just hearing those early stories. So question for you, Tom, what would you say like the biggest difference or differences is or are between like just the industry in general back when you got in to where it is now? It seems for me like it was just so much more pure than it is now. There's so much company saturation, competitiveness. There's sharks in the water where I feel like, and correct me if I'm wrong, back then it was just like genuine people that are like, guys, we found something. This is legit. Like, no, like, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but I'm just curious your take on the differences.
Oh, that's a great question. Yeah, I mean, clearly it's become way, way, way more competitive. It's just become, the norm now in Utah, Idaho for college guys, girls to go out for a summer while they're in school. It's I don't think you could find very many kids that haven't heard of summer sales now in Utah. Back then it was just so new. I'd say the biggest difference is that I think of is more so technology. I didn't have a cell phone my first summer. There was no website. It was all on paper. We used the customer's phone to call in and schedule the appointment. And that was kind of integrated in our clothes and part of the training. Didn't have navigation, using the map books, logging houses with the red construction crayons you get it from Home Depot and right on the curb. Actually, great method. Those hash marks would last all summer long. The sun would bake on that crayon, and you could see exactly who knocked what, and it was no problem. So, but ironically, the pitch and the schedule and just even the trainings, there has not been that big of a variance. It's
really
pretty wild. Almost. Oh,
you're right.
It's evolved a little bit and a few little things, but the nuts and bolts are almost exactly the same. The trucks are in the area.
Just got to fit you in.
Yeah. And so now I think that reps just have so many more tools that they can utilize to bring in business and stay efficient and maximize their time on the doors. We'd have to drive our paper contracts to the office after knocking every day, and that added another hour and a half to your night. We'd have to hand write out the service ticket for the technician. So if you sold 10 that day, come back, you got a couple hours of paperwork to still do before you get home. So just things like that. It's been really fun to just see the evolution of door to door, but really the premise has not changed a whole lot. It's the harder you work, the more you're going to make. And it's just about putting in the hours and staying disciplined, sticking to your schedule. And those things just haven't changed. And it's been fun because when I started out, all the haters or doubters like, oh, this industry has 5 years left, 10 years left. No, it's an old school selling technique. It's not going to be around. And now we're selling more accounts than we ever have before today.
Yep.
Even with the competition, even with how saturated it is, even with, 5 other companies knocking in your same neighborhood, we're selling more accounts and breaking records.
Totally. Yeah, it's been cool. I don't know why I joined the industry in 2015. And I've always just been so intrigued whenever I talk to someone like yourself or anyone that's been around since like the 90s or early thousands, and just hearing about the industry and just hearing how they grew things and what those individuals like ended up doing and being and where they're at now. It's just like crazy that for people listening, like there's all these prominent figures in our space that have been doing it for so long, and they started doing exactly what it is that you're doing now, which is going out and knocking doors. It looked a little bit different, a little bit more monotonous in what you had to do to actually get the sale done and process, but it is really cool.
Thanks so much for listening to the D2D podcast and being such a loyal listener. If you haven't subscribed already, hit that subscribe button. And we have finally come out with a 2.0 to our D2D University. And we want to give you free access to our community where you can peruse around different micro courses to big pro and apprentice certifications. Whether you're in pest, solar, roofing, alarms, fiber, all these different industries have an amazing refresh of brand new content we spent the last year redoing. Why? Because we believe in leveling up this industry from ethics to mindset to skill sets to all the things that's going to make you an actual pro at doing this door-to-door job that we know is super difficult, but it's the same effort, but greater results with DDDU 2.0. Go to our website and get access today.
So you joined in early thousands. Why don't you give us a rundown on your career from when you joined up until current day and what you're doing now?
So I did my first summer in Lancaster. My second summer, I stayed with the same company and managed a team out in Southern Florida. I was
what part of Southern Florida?
What's that?
What part of Southern Florida?
Pembroke Pines, Miramar.
Pembroke?
Really?
Yeah, I just moved to Salt Lake from Delray Beach.
Oh, no way. Yeah.
Yeah, I used to work all in those areas.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, that's where I went my second summer. I was so jacked from my first summer. I told everyone I could about it. I was the RA at my apartment complex. And so
what does that mean?
Resident, or is that what it's called? Resident?
Resident.
Where you go door to essentially make sure everyone's following the curfew and
totally
doing the thing, right? So I knew everyone in the building anyway. I had to go check up on them every night. And so I recruited about 35 kids my second summer and did real well with it. My third summer, I was going to go back with the same company, but then I had an opportunity to partner with someone who's my current partner today after all these years. Wow. He had a little pest control company going at the time called Safeguard. He was only in 3 locations at that time and was just bogged down with operations and just really needed a recruiter and a partner to help grow and scale and open up new locations. And so he was on the hunt for partners. And I knew I wanted to eventually start my own pest control company. I just didn't know when and how. And so when this opportunity presented itself, I jumped all over it. Went all in, actually dropped out of school, had just gotten married. I'm sure she was scared to death. And then we moved to Richmond, Virginia to open a new Safeguard location. And we grew Safeguard over a 5-year period to 16 locations. We grew fast. We were self-funded. We bootstrapped it. It was tight. So we sold that to Terminex in 2006.
That's awesome. Congrats.
And back then it was one of the largest acquisitions they have ever done. And so we went from kind of rags to riches. We went from bootstrapping it to, I think my wife had 9 Toyota Tacomas under her name at one time. Didn't have any business credit. I had more than that under stated income back then, Yeah, probably scary, but we recapitalized and then opened a new company called Service Pro Lawn and Pest Control. We went out to Florida. We had a non-compete in those 16 markets that we were in, and Florida was a state we hadn't gone to yet. And there was some buyers that were really looking to get into that market, and it looked promising. So we opened up 9 locations in Florida right out of the gate. And
wow,
you might be, you'll remember, but 2007 to 2009 was the housing crisis. Totally. And Florida was the first state to really get hit hard. Was
it now? I didn't know that.
Yeah, I think Nevada, Florida, those, they just started to melt down, foreclosures everywhere. And all our eggs were in that basket in Florida. And so we went from having such a successful, first run at things and a really phenomenal exit to, oh my gosh, we're bleeding out. This is hard. Retention was hard. Luckily, because of our good relationship with Terminex, we had sold them a really good book of business and had stayed in touch with them. They bought Service Pro from us in 2009. So we did 3
so you sold there. 2 businesses to Terminex?
Yeah, we sold 2 businesses. Insane. Now, the second one, we essentially recapitalized. We didn't make very much money. We squeaked out a profit, but the win was just getting our money back and reevaluating our next path. Like, okay, what's next?
Dude, that's amazing. Getting your money back, getting that off behind you, you can focus on the future rather than having to carry that into a different venture. That's huge.
Yeah. And now I'm older and wiser. I can look back at that time as valuable lessons opposed to I essentially worked for 3 years for for free. And
yeah, right.
move my family across the country and, all of that stuff. But I'm super grateful for those lessons, because also where we went wrong was when we bootstrapped our first company, you can only operate within what you've got.
Totally.
You have to make good financial decisions. There's no option to not.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, when we had what we viewed as a blank checkbook to start a new company, we bought brand new trucks, furniture, the nicest offices, nicest call phone system, best benefit plan. We overspent. And so not only were we battling the economy and things out of our control, we didn't stick to the premise of what made us good in the first place. And so we reevaluated everything. We're like, look, let's get back to what made us great and get back to basics. And then we launched Insight Pest Solutions and Vantage Marketing. Terminex had approached us after that second acquisition, and they're like, hey guys, instead of this pump and dump where you build up offices and sell them to us, why don't you just be our door-to-door pest control company? We'll go exclusive with you. Vantage will be the only company that can wear Terminex on the doors. And then that opens up essentially the entire nation. Now we could go knock almost anywhere in the country because they've already got a brick and mortar location and the trucks and the technicians. And we just have to recruit, send guys in, they service, we sell it. But we didn't want to go away from owning our own branches and putting all our eggs in that basket. And so we worked out a deal to where, look, we'll sell for you in markets that we don't prop up our own brand. We'll never do both in the same city. And so we had Insight Pest Solutions, we had Terminex, and the production was pretty evenly split between those two. And I think getting the exclusivity with Terminex is what really launched us. We went from, being around, I think we had 200 reps at Service Pro, and eventually we got up to over 1,000 reps at Vantage. But it was the ability to sell in a lot of these markets where the competitors weren't. Louisville, Kentucky, Lincoln, Nebraska, just Beaumont, Texas, right? Just these little markets that no one had thought of hitting, we now could go do. And that really launched us and put us in a great position. Am I going too fast?
No, you're going, it's perfect. Okay. Yeah.
So going back to my roots, growing up in Canada, I used to recruit a lot of guys from Canada, and we'd get them a J1 work visa, and they'd come over in the States, and they only needed to be a student to really qualify. And so I was doing a lot of recruiting up there. That's where my connections are. That's, my friends. And they got rid of the visa program. And so we could no longer bring Canadians over. And it had always been in my heart to open up shop in Canada. I was like, there's no reason we can't be successful here. Calgary, right outside of my hometown, is identical to Denver. They call them the sister cities. We sold in Boston, Minnesota. So logically, I was like, we can do this. There's a market there for it. There's money, there's homes, and no one's doing it. And so we took that opportunity to say, well, we've got, a ton of reps that we can't put to work unless we open up shop in Canada. So we started marketing for Terminex up there just to give these guys something to do, not knowing how it would go, but optimistic. And it's just, we just crushed it right out of the gate. We just saw the potential. And so we decided to double down on Canada and opened up a bunch of locations there. Today we're in every major city in Canada. It's not a big country, right? So we got to get creative where we go, but we're everywhere in Canada now, and we're doing amazing. Just as much production in Canada as we are in the States. And so that for me feels really good. There's so much nostalgia behind it. I've got my friends' kids that are working for me. I've got, friends that are working for me, guys that I knew in high school. And it's just been really fun to see it take off, and the opportunity now being up there, which all these kids came from cut from the same cloth as me. I wasn't special, but I could work hard, was competitive, and was poor. And so, these kids are from the same environment, these little farm towns, and they go crazy and they sell a lot of accounts, and they remind me of the old days, back when they were grateful for a job, humble, just they work all the hours, not the sense of entitlement that you'll find from time to time, just humble, hardworking kids. And so it's really been a lot of fun. That's kind of my pest control journey, and we're still thriving today and going at it.
That's amazing.
Yeah, thank you. It's been quite the ride. Hard to believe it's been 25 years now, but it's stacked up quick.
Yeah.
About 5 years ago, the solar wave was coming in, and you couldn't ignore it. I had already seen a few solar waves come and go during my career, and so I was resistant. I'm like, guys, this is a flash in the pan. This is, it's all about subsidies. Just stick to it. But I was bleeding my top reps to solar. Guys that had been with me 5-6 years, they were going on these blitzes and making just insane money. Yeah. And so I had to humble myself and say, okay, I could keep sitting here and bleeding off my top talent, where I can start playing ball and give them a platform. So we launched Vantage Solar, which was just a sales org. We utilized different EPCs, but we're just a sales org. And I knew eventually I wanted to get into the install game. And then just like before with bumping into Shandon at Safeguard, opportunity presented itself to partner with the old Dish One caliber guys, Jeremy Hammond, Mark Cram, Grant Miser, those guys. And so we collaborated. They were just a sales org as well. And I had known those guys for a long, long time. I went to school with Mike Hammond in Rexburg. He started in pest control as well. And so we decided to join forces, and we started Aveo Solar, and we still have that today. So I'm kind of more on the solar side today than the pest side, but my heart's always a pest, and I navigate between the two worlds.
I love it. Wow. Well, that's kind of a crazy 25 years in the space. It isn't normal.
Exactly.
I love it. And it has to feel so good to be able to provide such an opportunity for friends, family, your home nation, right? The fact that you're doing the same amount of volume up there as you are here, that's really cool. And I bet that's really special for you. So that's amazing to hear. Definitely. So one thing I noticed is you jumped in, you sold Lancaster. Next year, you're managing. Props for recruiting 35 people year 2. That's rare as well. And probably to convince 35 people to move to Florida for the summer, that's pretty cool as well. And then 3rd year, I believe, is when you partnered with your buddy to start that pest control company. So a question I have for you, Tom, is like, I see that a lot. Now, I feel like it's more prevalent nowadays than it was back in those days, where reps will get recruited, they'll do a summer, or they'll do a year if it's like a different industry as solar. But pretty soon out of the gates in the industry, they're like, hey, I can do this myself. And they start their own gig. And I see a lot of those flop. And it sounds like you were able to pretty early do the same thing and be acquired, which is really rare to do. What advice would you give to people that are listening right now that are maybe 2-3 years into their career, kind of like you, that are kind of like, I can go and do my own thing? What would your advice be to them to be successful? Because again, so many people would go out and do that and they flop.
Yeah, I see it all the time as well. And, being a great sales guy is much different than being a good businessman and a good operator. 2 different skill sets. Just 2 completely different sides of the brain, right? And so sales reps are like, I'm generating all this revenue for a company. Why am I not, and so they go over and try to become now an operator and an accountant, customer service and HR and sell. And a lot of times they don't have the discipline to really make sure their salespeople are selling on par. They're just numbers driven. And so you're not selling the best quality accounts. You're not giving the best customer service and all of those kind of things. And so I think I'm lucky in the fact that my partner had already had Safeguard up and going for, I believe, 3 summers before I partnered. He was one of the OGs. Shandon was back in SalesNet back in, I think, 97.
Whoa, yeah.
So
I haven't heard that in a while.
So he had already kind of gone through the learning curve and had it pretty dialed, and he's a really hardworking guy. And so he just taught me the ropes of what it was going to take to run a profitable, good business, a sound business, sell quality accounts, wear a bunch of different hats. I mean, I was the technician, secretary, sales manager, sales rep, whatever it took, I was there. There was no job below me. If a tech didn't show up that day or called in sick, my ass was in a truck. If I had 3 hours in the evening, I was out knocking doors or training. And in the off season, I was recruiting. And so I was all in. And I think the other problem a lot of times is sales reps really just work 4 months out of the year, make all their money off season, maybe do a little bit of recruiting, but they're not working 40, 50 hours a week.
No way.
This was a year-round gig. This was 60 hours a week, 12 months out of the year, not just jump in for the summer, hands off the wheel. We had to drive the business and work on the business and in the business. And
yeah, it is true, man. It's like people can be really good at knocking doors. They can be really good at recruiting, running a good sales meeting, and they make a lot of money, and then they just think they can go do the other side. And it's just, I don't know. It's a completely different skill set that some have to learn the hard way. It really is. It's not the same. I've seen a lot of people flop. So
it's interesting you bring that up. One of our models at Vantage, and we kind of just mimicked the model we did at Safeguard. I wasn't the only partner. We recruited several other partners that grew branches as well. Is we saw that quickly that, look, most of the door-to-door pest control competitors worked for me and Shandon at one time. How do we keep everything under the same family? And we came up just with a model where, look, if you're a sales guy and a recruiter, just do that. Let us handle the operations. Let us handle the finance side of it. Let us handle the acquisition, the nitty gritty details. You just do what your superpower is and be a partner with us, a true partnership. K1 partner, not LTIP profit sharing. They're a real partner. They have skin in the game, and we build this together and win together. But you do what you're best at, we'll do what we're best at. And we started that model a long time ago. Shandon and I were going through the Rolodex a while back, and we identified 33 partners that became millionaires from owning a branch with us over our career, not over time, but in $1 million plus in a lump sum check on an acquisition. And that's pretty damn cool. That feels really, really good, because now they're going to go and do cool stuff in life, and they're going to go build, and it just kind of keeps the momentum going. And that for me is so fulfilling.
Totally. You say 33 or 35?
Between 33 and 35 millionaires.
That's insane.
Yeah. And that's,
you guys have done some good things.
That feels really great. And a lot of them are still with us today. They rinse, repeat. Let's open some more. And but that's what's really stirred my soul, is just winning together instead of just the founding partners at the top making all the money at the end. It's the people that are in the trenches with you, and they win with you as well. And there's enough to go around.
Totally. That kind of segues well into what I wanted to ask you next. As you've been reflecting and sharing all the intricacies over the last 25 years of your career. It's kind of a two-parted question. You've definitely have worn all the hats that our industry has to offer. Multiple different industries you've been a part of from the ground up. You've done it sounds like. So part one of the question is, what different avenue that our industry offers, what different hat has been your favorite to do, whether it be like the sales guy, the white rabbit, whether it's the recruiter, whether it's the operator, whether it's whatever it is. What has been your favorite part? And what you can share afterwards is, as you've been reflecting and sharing over your career, what season of it has been your favorite?
Oh, cool. I probably didn't feel this way at the time because it was so hard, but I moved my family to Washington, D.C., not just for the summer, but year round. I was going to be home base because the branches that I had ownership in were Baltimore, D.C., Richmond, Virginia Beach, and Columbus, all in that little area. So it made more sense for me to be out there. But I ran the branch. I ran a 10,000 customer branch. Wow. at a very young age. And
what year was this?
This was what year was this?
Yeah, what year?
2003.
Oh, wow. This was early on.
So I'm a kid. I'm 24 years old, interviewing 50-year-old men for positions and branch managers. But I was forced to learn the service side and get into the nitty-gritty. Like, the technicians reported to me. I ran this location. And so not just being a sales guy, but now understanding the service side and that side of the fence, because there's always that service sales, clash, just always is. And so I could bridge the gap more. I understood both worlds. I understood, what their pain points were on both sides of the fence. And so that really helped me grow as a businessman instead of just a good salesman, because that's all I was up to that point. I'd never run a business. I was a blue collar kid. I did all the shitty jobs you can imagine, but being able to understand that really added to my resume and helped me not only teach the reps how to sell better quality accounts, how to underpromise, sell accounts that stick instead of just trying to get a commission. And very, very grateful for that time of growth and reflection. Had I not done that, I don't think I'd be nearly as far in life as I am today.
For sure. So was that the first part or the second part? Your favorite season or the favorite kind of role?
That was probably the best growing opportunity, best looking back. I think my favorite season, I'm having so much fun right now, just seeing Canada explode and just kind of the fruits of our labor. But not just that, like the connections that we've made over a 20+ year period where you just meet someone and all of a sudden now you're doing business today, 10 years later, like Jeremy Hammond, Mark Cram, Grant Miser. Like, would never fathom I'm going to be business partners with these guys, or people I met at networking events, or someone I recruited in Canada. He's my business partner today. His name's Brendan. He'll be speaking at Door-to-Door Con. I recruited him off a booth in Canada. I think it was in 2007 at a job fair
That's
in
incredible.
Saskatchewan.
Wow.
Middle of winter, but now he runs all of our operations. He's a stud. He's far better businessman than I am. He's very intelligent, and he's with us today. And so just to see, man, that one decision to go do that job fair that day in the middle of the winter, I'm working with my business partner today because of that one decision. So that's been fun to see.
I love it. Man, you've had quite a career. Very unique, very different than a lot of people, and a lot of successes. And I'm sure you got campfire stories for people about this. Just campfire stories. If this podcast was 3 hours long, it'd feel too short, honestly. I can ask you questions all day. But let's pivot into Door-to-Door Con Canada. This has to feel good for you, seeing the space grow. I say this a lot because I've been doing podcasts with a lot of people that are going to be part of the event. Myself personally, I didn't even really understand or know that Canada had such a prominent door-to-door showing, so to speak, and it was doing so well up there. So it's been really cool for me, at least, to see. But for you, who's from Canada, what are you the most excited about for Door-to-Door Con Canada?
I think just bringing awareness to others that, hey, there's guys making really great money doing this. It's kind of like back in the original days when I got started, not a lot of people knew about it. They thought it was too good to be true, a scam, whatever, and there's still that in Canada. You go outside of Alberta, which is a mini Utah, right? Very LDS. They did a mission. Like, outside of Alberta, it's pretty foreign concept, and there's no shortage of universities outside of Alberta. And so I want to bring awareness to all of Canada of what these opportunities can bring, and just seeing it snowball and grow. And from where it was just even 5 years ago to today is just night and day different. And so I was an early supporter of the first Door-to-Door Con that Taggart did. I spoke at that first one, and as a big fan and believer of just uniting the industry and cleaning it up, and making connections and just celebrating it together. And now to see that be in Canada, I'm beyond ecstatic. I'm just so thrilled.
I love it. So we kind of chatted briefly before we started recording here about your workshop. I definitely know whatever you decide to train on is going to be very valuable. So if people listening right now, if you are coming to Canada, I would definitely make it to Tom's workshop, because obviously, if you've been listening, he's got a big background in this space from every avenue. I'm sure whatever our listeners are going through right now, or whatever our listeners that will be attending the event are going through right now, whatever their biggest struggle is, it sounds like you've probably had that same struggle 50 times and overcame it. So do you have an idea of where you're leaning as to what type of topic you want to train and teach on?
I'm kind of, I've been putting a lot of intention into this, journaling, brainstorming, but really I'm going to just keep it super simple. And kind of my premise is just betting on yourself, going all in on yourself. And, no one's going to save you. And this is an opportunity where you do go all in on yourself, and just kind of use that as the catalyst to talk about all the traits and different attributes you need to have to be able to do that, but what it can become when you decide to bet on yourself and go all in on yourself. And so that's kind of the direction I'm heading of self-development and just.
I love it. Definitely a guy who's bet on himself early on in his life. It's paid off, learned a lot of lessons. So again, guys, if you're listening to this and you're on the fence about Door-to-Door Con Canada, maybe you're just living on the northern part of the United States and you don't want to deal with crossing the border, whatever your reasons are for not going, you should definitely go. There's going to be a lot of people like Tom that have just done the thing. If you've been to Door-to-Door Con in Salt Lake, it's going to be just as good. We have a lot of good people on the docket. But one last question for you, Tom, before we wrap up. If you got a call from a company today that wanted you to work for them and they offered you just something you could not say no to, like, in your heart, like, I cannot say no to, which required you to leave the door-to-door space. Your career ended today. If you were to take the last 25 years of everything you've been through and sum it up in one lesson, one major takeaway from your career, and I know that's probably hard to pick, but what would you say sums up your biggest lesson over the last 2.5 decades?
Oh, gosh.
I know. I'm sorry.
No, it's a good one. I would say enjoy the journey. I was that guy who was like, baby, in 3 years, we're going to be just 3 more years. Then we're going to be so happy. Then we made it and we can go do this and that. And so anytime I've had a big hit or an exit at acquisition, I was counting down the days until that happened. Sure. And then after it would happen, it was euphoric. And then a month later, back to now what? Now I'm stressed about what to do with it and how do I invest it? What, I don't want to lose it. And I look back on the times where we moved our 3 kids across the country in our SUV and car seats and lived in crappy apartments and I look back on all of those war stories, going up to Rexburg recruiting, doing pizza meetings, knocking dorms, watching guys that I recruited become partners and become millionaires, like just enjoying the ride and the journey. It's not just all about the money. That's going to lose its luster quick, and you're on that hamster wheel chasing that ghost. It's never going to fulfill you. It's a great byproduct of the journey. And there is no shortage, there is no lack, but just enjoy the ride. And even if it feels really, really hard right now, there's going to be some beautiful lessons that unfold from it, and you'll understand why you needed to go through that at that time. But it's easier said than done. But I've got the experience under my belt now where I can look back and be like, man, what a story, what a journey. This is freaking cool. That's what I would say.
I love it. And it's so true. I feel like every human has that, where they just think like, oh, life will begin when it's going to be better when this comes. But it's like, people just feel like it's right now. Like, this moment, this is life. This is it. It's not going to be in 3 years when we exit. It's not going to be when I have that house. It's not going to be when I finally have a child. It's right now. I had dropped my kids off at school yesterday morning. I was driving to work. I'll drop them off in Harriman, driving to Sandy. I'm headed east. Sun is just glaring in my face. For some reason, my GPS over in that area, it's a lot of road work, a lot of construction. I'm on this bumpy road. The sun's in my face. And I was just happy because I was like, dude, like every little moment, like even like the annoyances, like this is life. I can choose to be happy or choose to think about like, oh, it'll be better when, as silly as that analogy sounds. And it is true. There's a quote I love. It's like when you're walking through the rose garden, all you feel are the thorns. When you get out and look back, all you see are the roses. And it's so true. And it's like as you're navigating this rose garden, look around at the roses, smell them, stop, feel it, because one day you're going to be out of that rose garden, and those prickly thorns, whatever, you're going to kind of miss that sensation. You're going to see why they had to prick you. You know what I mean? So just enjoy it. Have a good perspective. It's hard to do all of the time, especially when things feel heavy, but I so agree with that. It's like life is happening right now. It's not going to happen later. It's happening right now. And
the only thing that's real is right now, you know.
Absolutely.
Not delaying your happiness, delayed graph. It's beautifully said. It's enjoy your life as it is right now, because that's what's real. The future isn't.
It's future's fake. It's made up. I love it. Well, Tom, if people listen to this, they resonate, they want to see more of you, where can they find you online if you are online?
Instagram, tom.karren, tom.karren is my Instagram, and feel free to give me a follow.
Love it, guys. Come to Door Con Canada. You can meet Tom, hear from him, and a lot of other people. And if you like this podcast, you know what to do. Like, subscribe, leave a comment, and take away, and we'll see you in the next one. Tom, thanks so much for your time, and we'll see you guys later.